we're back, people, and the regular season is finally upon us. Week 1 banger between the Dolphins and Chargers. Absolute shootout on offense. Really great game by Tua, Tyreek. They put on a masterclass. Got to give credit to the offensive line as well. I'm going to do a whole separate video on them just because they really did a great job in pass protection. It was really fun to watch. A bunch of other role players made big plays when it mattered. And then Mike McDaniel did such a good job adjusting in this game. Like, truly, compared to last season's games, it was night and day, his play calling. The way he added some new wrinkles to the offense. As you'll see when I show in this video, there's a couple different ways. He ran some similar route concepts, but changed things up a little bit to beat these coverages, and then just did some things that were simple to make life easy early on, and they were just clicking. And then we're going to start with this play right here. One of Tua's best plays of his career. Chargers go very interesting. They're showing too high pre-snap, and they end up rotating into like this cover 3. Very interesting. They hadn't done this the entire game, and Tua just makes an amazing play. You can see how they're like disguising this too high look, and then Derwin runs from like this position to become the deep third safety. And Tyreek right here, look at the route. He's super delayed running like this wheel route right here, allowing this to develop. Tua reading this, he kind of is reading, this deep dig route, but they sit on it. The two safeties that were going to be deep halves, they end up coming down and being like almost a deep hook defender sitting at this on, it's a 3rd and, 10 situation, 3rd and long. Tua's making big plays on 3rd and long. He ends up slipping down. I believe that's Waddle. He has to step up into the pocket. He sees Tyreek coming up deep and making a play, out of structure. He's on the move, delivering a deep strike. These are all things Tua has been criticized about. The arm strength, the, making plays out of structure, and then delivering an accurate deep ball. And he did it all when it mattered most. It was truly special to see. And he kind of throws it across his body with how he's here. And this was such a quick flick with the release and drops an absolute diamond in the bucket. Truly special play. Really excited to go through the rest of this game because it was really, really nice to see. And they didn't even run the ball that much. Of course, McDaniel, he's going to throw the ball. And they kind of needed to in this game. And the running game wasn't working too well in the second half. It was a pretty solid first half performance, though. First pass of the game, 1st and 5 after the offsides. Dolphins definitely got to get those issues fixed. We're going to start from the start of the game now and go in order. But, yeah, the snapping issues definitely have to get fixed. And Dolphins did what I said. If you watched my preview video, I said, they should just start pretty basic. They run the option route to Waddle in the last game. They just got to start doing stuff like that. Chargers come out, in their base package, no nickel on the field. And to the field side here, they're playing to the strength over here. But to the field side where all the room is, Khalil Mack is, the defender that's kind of lined up near Hill, and he's basically just pointing to the safety you got him over here. So it leaves Hill one-on-one with a safety who's playing, with over 10 yards of depth, and he just has a quick, little option to break this to the outside. Tua reads it, makes a nice read, understands, the defense, where all the space is going to be pre-snap, and they just make things work, and it's just such a nice way to get started, feel confident, and I feel like the Chargers were definitely expecting the Dolphins to come out to run the ball, and they just come out in empty motion, running back into the backfield, think the run game's going to come, and they end up completing a nice free little pass to start things out, and it just kept going from there. Dolphins end up not scoring this drive because of the fumbled snap, but it's still nice to see they're getting explosive plays, especially plays after the catch. I feel like Yak looked pretty good in this game, which is nice to see. They were still getting a lot of air yards completed, which is, the staple of their offense. Average depth of target was pretty good, but the game came out pretty simple. The quick option out route to Tyreek, and then just slant. They get man-to-man across the board. They go empty. This is, very typical of what teams do. When you go empty, you go to the number 2, typically has a very good matchup on the backside with a lot of space to work with, because look at the middle of the field here. It's wide open. This DB's playing outside leverage. Tua understands that pre-snap, and he knows exactly where to go with the ball. Waddle wins off of this, and you can just see the explosiveness. Even though Waddle only had 4 catches, he still averaged 19.5 yards per catch or something like that. So he's still showing that he's creating big plays whenever he gets the ball. It was just Tyreek played amazing. Maybe the best I've ever seen Tyreek play, because his routes were so crisp. He was getting open so easily, but it was also nice to see other players making big plays. Craycraft made big plays. Barrios made big plays. Smythe made some big plays too. And then Waddle also doing what he does. Mostert played pretty solid. Ahmed, can't wait to see A-Chain be added to this offense and get an opportunity because they looked so explosive. Now, on the next drive, where their scoring drive, they kind of, Tua comes out, misses a deep shot to Tyreek. He really underthrew it, which, he had some underthrows early in this game. It was nice to see him respond with 2 deep balls to Tyreek that ended up really changing the game and the outcome. But he responded really well with this play to Craycraft. You can just see him manipulating with his eyes, doing what he does best, winning over the middle of the field, making nice reads. You can see him look to the outside, fit this right between both linebackers. He does an amazing job with that. He's always probably been one of the best quarterbacks in the league in this area of the field, doing exactly this play, delivering really accurate balls down the middle. Chargers looking like, they're in a version of 3 and match, but these guys end up, getting to the outside, carrying this with the number 2 with the motion. They get confused. Dolphins were doing this throughout the game. This was something they were confusing the Chargers with. Like last year, if they kind of would do the same side motion. Last year they would just motion across, and the Chargers would distribute it really well, understood exactly what to do. But Dolphins would do the same side motion where they're on the same side. They start to motion, get this outside, and then right at the snap, basically he's in motion, and it just confuses these guys just enough. He gets too wide, and it leaves Craycraft open over the middle with just the linebackers to get behind. This little wrinkle on a 3rd and 3 situation, you have Ezu Kanma as the back here, he went pretty creative. I liked how the usage with Eazy. He got definitely early on. He got some very manufactured touches. Makes me feel pretty good about his usage for the whole season. Clearly wants to get him involved. 3rd and 3. They have Ahmed lined up in the slot. They bring him across. Maybe jet sweep, but he ends up sort of just being a lead with it. They block down, get some pullers out in space. Eazy has so much room to work with. They set this up pretty nicely. Smythe. Look where he's aligned, pretty tight, but here to crack back Bosa, get down, and it basically just turns into a pin pull and then you have Lamb pulling out to space. Connor Williams getting to the 2nd level. Very interesting. Oh yeah, I think they end up calling holding on that. I mean, it was a pretty weak holding call, but Connor Williams got to clean some stuff up, mainly the snaps. That's a weak holding call, though, in my opinion. But it was nice to see different types of play calls that McDaniel was coming out creatively. He definitely was in the lab for sure. Then after that play, it's 3rd and 8 now. Tua makes an amazing play. He gets face masked on the play, sticks with it. There's man-to-man across the board. Nothing's really open initially, but he's able to stick with this play, and we can just see how he delivers an absolute dime to Barrios after getting face masked, which is such an excellent play. His plays out of structure on 3rd downs was amazing in this game. I know that's not his super strength. They do the same side motion thing with Tyreek too there. You'll see how effective it is later on in a couple of plays, but then just an amazing play by Tua to convert there. There ends up being, the face mask, so it wouldn't have mattered if they completed it or not, but just huge plays like that can be the difference maker in games. Then they finish this play with some nice runs from Mostert. 2 runs here. Good job. Angled kicking this out. Great blocking. They're definitely more effective running to the right. I feel like while Lamb and Wynn did pretty solid jobs in pass protection, they were not the best at running behind them here, but pretty good job from the backside. Connor Williams kicks out. You can see how everyone does their job across here. Angle does his job. Jackson does a nice job winning off the edge here, making his guy go to the ground. Hunt's going to take on the linebacker, but the linebacker wants to avoid him, so he gets to the outside, which leads a big lane here. Wynn cuts off number 9, and Mostert just hits up through this hole, gets down inside, and then he ends up scoring on the very next play. Here's the wrinkle. This exact play, this exact routes concept was shut down so much in the matchup last year between the Chargers. They knew exactly what to do. Here, with this wrinkle, it puts just a little more stress on the Chargers. Hill lined up almost like an off-ball tight end, motions from the same side, and this really gets him the leverage advantage he needs. Look what he just does to that corner. He looked so explosive. Maybe, like a different level explosive coming into the season. But usually when he would motion across, they'd really, understand how to do this. The outside guy here would then take this motion, but they don't distribute it that way because they're not expecting from the same side motion like this. So it puts this Stevie in a really tough spot to follow him, have all this space, then has to open up his hips. Tua makes a good read here, just drop back, very good pass protection up front. We'll definitely focus on that later down the line, probably in a couple days, but Tyreek just gets open. Like, that's the type of stuff I love to see from Mike McDaniel. Very next play, another big shot to Tyreek. Dolphins coming out of play action. They looked pretty good, with these long drops out of play action and non-play action, but it also just shows how effective having Hill and Waddle are. Like, look how fast they both, first of all, they're both facing press. There's a deep safety. He's cheating to Tyreek's side, but he ends up going towards the middle anyways. But look how fast they win. Like, this is like the cheat code that you can have where you just have everyone like max protect, basically. they get off the ball. They both win down the field very quickly with little wasted time off the line of scrimmage. They make one little move. Waddle ends up, really just getting off the line and getting deep down the field to just kind of carry this, make the safety have to respect that he can't break down. And it just gives Hill one-on-one opportunities to absolutely destroy his guy off the ball. Good play design, great execution, and that's for that being, a 28-yard completion. It's a pretty quick play. Insane what they're able to accomplish with this offense. Seam rail slide RPO, the staple of this Dolphins offense. Look, they have this same side motion. Usually it's a motion across or no motion at all. Same side motion. Craycraft starts the motion out, takes a couple steps. They snap it. It makes them play it very differently. Derwin James gets very aggressive to shoot downhill, and then they have all this open space. This worked pretty effectively. It forces this linebacker to really get out here, and with Derwin blitzing, this is really open. Look how this linebacker has to play it. If this wasn't blitzing, he probably could have thrown this as well. You can see it later in the video. He does the same exact thing, but throws it to angled here, but then gets all this opportunity. And with that motion, since they're not motioning across, usually when they motion across, linebackers will bump down, right? But since that doesn't happen, this linebacker has no chance. If, say, Craycraft started over here and motion across, 6 would have bumped down, 9 would have bumped down, and he would have had a chance to help make a play on 81. But since this was lined up, 9, who probably would have been responsible for the tight end, has to go out and get the wheel, and it just creates a number matchup. Just absolutely a very simple change to the offense, but really, really genius. Some more same side motion. Tua looking to the bottom here, but they end up, playing this pretty well. It gets distributed. Everything's taken away, and Tua just makes a play off script, finds Durham Smythe. I thought Smythe was a pretty solid safety blanket in this game, but just nice to see Tua creating off script, getting off his reads. He reads over here, nothing, boom, get outside. Keep your eyes down the field. Don't panic. Deliver a good ball over the linebacker in front of the safeties. Durham Smythe, him on the same page. A lot of space was created there to the 3 receiver side. Just things really worked to perfection. Even when things didn't work to perfection, they made it work really, really nice. And one of the biggest plays of the game, Dolphins go for it on 4th and 7, just in the middle of the game, really, really risky. And Tua makes an excellent read to find just Durham Smythe as your, check down option into the flat. Chargers split field look here. They have, a little bit, Waddle matched up here 1-on-1, but they have safety help over the top with this linebacker cheating to this side. So here it's basically just look at the effect Tyreek has on this play as the number 2 at the top here. He ends up getting bracketed, pulls this, this guy right here. So this guy should have been a flat defender here because they're matched up, playing quarters on the outside. So he's just matched up 1-on-1. But this guy ends up getting, Tyreek in a match on. So he's just getting a free release into the flat, is basically, doubling Tyreek there. And it leaves all that room for Smythe to work with because they're not, playing in their zones. They're matching and ending up, doubling Tyreek, the effect Tyreek can have. He looks down the field, sees it's not open, so he just takes the nice little option to Smythe, delivers. Look at this absolutely perfect throw to Tyreek here at the bottom of the screen. They motion to the Ahmed down, make it 4 receivers, and this is an absolutely amazing throw. Versus this, they have basically 3 guys here. 2 is reading this, how they're distributing this. Smythe gets taken away here. Not an option. This is taken, down and away. He's just reading this linebacker. Look at when he's releasing this. This ball's getting released, and Tyreek is right here based on this linebacker. Throws it behind him. He's just reading the hips. He sees this guy open up his hips like this. He's throwing it to it that spot right there, knowing exactly the timing and everything. Because once that linebacker opens up his hips, he trusts that he's not going to be able to get back around like that. And it's an amazing throw. Most other quarterbacks are not even attempting to make that throw. It's really what makes Tua so special in this offense. Really impressive middle of the field throw here, just fitting this in between the linebackers, the timing of it. They have Tyreek motioning across, and that's basically his first read, and he's just seeing this open up. He sees he might get pressure pre-snap, looking at 6 and 9, but they both end up dropping back, and once he sees him get back too late, he's throwing it right as he's even with the linebacker, fits it into the tight window, which ends up getting them 8 yards on a 2nd and 6. Then they score the very next play. You think they're going to run the ball, but they go play action, motion angled out into the flat. Craycraft ends up destroying his guy off the line. They also had Smythe for a touchdown there, wide open. Really impressive route here from Craycraft to the bottom, just the release. Hard stab to the inside. Davis ends up, with his eyes here. Look what happens with this motion into the flat. That motion pre-snap makes Davis peek into the backfield, thinks he's going to take it. They do not pass this off, and then he's like, oh, I'm supposed to go with that. It's too late. Craycraft, Smythe both could have scored easy touchdowns on that play. Just excellent play calling, understanding what defenses are trying to do down the red zone with their distribution, and it causes confusion, and you get an easy pitch and catch. Bottom of the screen, 2nd and 13, Tua, Smythe motions across. He's just reading this defender. Once he sees him squeeze to Waddle, he fits another great ball behind it, just fitting, over the middle of the field. This is where Tua obviously excelled last season in these situations. It's, a high average depth of target, but it's a very quick play with how this ends up working. Takes a quick step drop. He's just reading this defender, this leverage. He sees him squeeze there. The linebacker's not out far enough. He throws it early with anticipation. He has no chance to get there, and it hits Tyreek in space. They're on the same page. He slows down for it, so he doesn't go into the linebacker, and he gets yards after catch. Okay, this was probably Tua's worst play of the game, the interception. He should not be throwing up this one-on-one to Berrios, obviously. But if he is going to throw it up, he just threw it to the wrong shoulder. He threw it to his back shoulder. And then this was PI. This should have been defensive pass interference. Like, the defender just pushes Berrios out of the way. So it's like, a mixed bag of things. Like, should have been pass interference. Tua still shouldn't have thrown it. But post-interception Tua, you'll see what he does on those situations. Then the Tyreek Hill touchdown after the interception. They motion Durham Smythe with that orbit motion. It just gets you that matchup with Tyreek Hill one-on-one guaranteed. So good setup by McDaniel. Tua's holding with his eyes. Look how he's looking here, holding with his eyes. Makes this safety just want to sit here, not help over the top. And once he hits that back foot, he knows he has that option to Hill one-on-one. Hill smokes his guy off the ball. Absolutely destroys him. Like, look how quickly he defeats him. Like, this is why I thought Hill was just on a different level. Boom. Just a quick little split release, speed to the outside, wins instantly. You can't play man-to-man on him. He looked like a different animal this game, like maybe the best game I've ever seen him play. Here's a huge 3rd and 15 conversion. Tua making plays off script. They're matching this up. 2 safeties here. They're cheating to this side. Nothing's really open at all. Once he's like, this is where they actually get pressure on him. He's able to break out of the pocket, stick with this, deliver an absolutely amazing throw to Berrios. I think there ends up being a penalty anyways, but so it wouldn't have mattered. But Berrios came up super clutch. Nothing open down the field. Just they and the pass rushers actually run their battle pretty quickly on the, twist stunt game. But Tua creating off script. I know the strong arm. You need the strong arm to make plays, the athleticism. But his pocket presence was really good this game. And then quick decisions, keeps his eyes down the field. And that's an absolutely perfect throw on the run to Berrios. And Berrios does a good job showing situational awareness. He was making clutch plays in this one. Here's the seam rail slide RPO, and this is the angled one where they throw the rail. Quick motion. He takes one step. He gets the leverage advantage off of this, and Tua reads that, sees that open up. They're not expecting, first of all, it's a fullback. It's angled. They're not like super, trying to get over the top of this, like this guy right here, but they motion. He's late to see it, and once Tua sees that, just the leverage that he's just reading that defender, he's throwing it to his back shoulder to keep him away from these guys. That's perfect placement, exactly where you want the ball. Angled. Nice to have a fullback that can, make these catches down the field. Really nice play, honestly. Love the setup. Love how McDaniel made these adjustments, and Staley had no answer. Still not sure how Berrios caught this down here in the slot. Just number 3. It's kind of like his first read. He's just seeing this open up, and he took a shot here. Probably not where Tua should have gone with the ball. Probably should have just taken this to Tyreek. Just reading this, like, once you go here, you see number 2 sort of squeeze. Or this guy right here, this nickel squeeze towards Berrios. He's just saying the linebacker, he should go to Tyreek right now. But I guess this guy's playing as a cover 2. They're playing cover 6 right now. And he ends up just making a very tight window throw. Look at the anticipation to throw this away. Him and Berrios on the same page. And Berrios makes an excellent catch. They end up reviewing it. But, Tua put it where it needed to be. Put it low, away from those DBs. Like, this guy never had a chance to even get there. Like, he dove and, like, that ball probably had a really low chance of being completed, and it was. Huge completion to Craycraft here on 2nd and 6. Dolphins go empty, finding that option. Tua feels that he's going to be hot here. They bring 5, right? So he's just reading this. This is just a numbers game. So usually you have 4-on-3. This is what defense try to do. They try to distribute these things. A 4-on-3 here. But at the bottom, he sees, usually he's just reading this guy. Once he sees this linebacker start to come, it's an easy decision. It's a 2-on-2 at the bottom. You get it 1-on-1 with all this room to work with. He knows exactly where to go with the ball. Good pocket created too. He gave him enough time, even though they brought an extra defender on the blitz. Just excellent decision. Understands exactly what defense is trying to do here, where his options are. And once he sees that linebacker blitz, it's an easy decision to go to Craycraft. Nowhere else he should have gone with the ball. Great job by Tua. I thought he was great with his pre-snap and post-snap reads in this game. Last play, the run breakdown, the touchdown, the goal line winner. They set this up, get that one-on-one matchup. He's just taking the fade. He sees one-on-one, he's taking it. Not my favorite play call the goal line fade, but, sometimes you just got to throw it up to your best player. I do love how early Tua threw this. Hits that back foot and just throws it up. Because if he waits a little longer, the DB makes that play. All he has to do is get an arm up and he knocks the ball down. If he waited longer, he should have thrown it, more out in front of him so Tyreek could catch it with his hands. But since he threw it early, all you got to do is just throw it right over and he just drops it in. DB is just playing it too late. Tyreek shows late hands, which is very important. Love how they set that up with the motion pre-snap, and you can just see the absolute dime where this ball ended up. Tua was super clutched, super poised in this game. One of the best games of his career. Like, I know it's probably the second best game he's had statistically behind the Ravens game. I thought it was better than the Ravens game overall with all the plays he made in this one. Super, super huge. Some of the best plays of his career. I don't know if I'd say it was his best game overall. Last year, maybe versus the Lions, he played pretty flawless. This game, he had a couple plays he'd like to have back, some missed deep throws, the interception, and the fumbled snaps, which have to get worked on. But he looked good when he was making some plays in the second half. So if you guys enjoyed this video, defense video dropping tomorrow, probably some O-line, maybe some individual players later in the week. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.